Welcome to Watch Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're taking the old Navy to school with the new Navy. You can see this Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Themes Navy on our website, watchyouvant.com. Purchase it there if you like, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now, 2014 marked a turning point for the 42mm Royal Oak Offshore. The case was designed, the dial was redesigned, the pushers were redesigned, and to top it all off, the legendary and much-loved Theme Navy watch was revised to become the model you see here. 42mm across the round portion of the case, an immense 53mm from extremity of lug to extremity of lug, and a substantial 14.5mm thick. It's every millimeter the presence on the wrist that it was when the first offshore broke cover in 1993 at Basel World. What sets this one apart is a level of refinement unprecedented on the serial production 42s. Now you can see on my wrist 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. There is not a millimeter to spare. At the edges of my wrist, this one fills it all. I mean, you can wear this watch on a huge wrist, but I want to assure you that at 16 centimeters, I'm probably the lower limit for a comfortable and secure fit, but it does fit comfortably and secure. Now, it has the Hornbeck Strap, and I've had a love-hate relationship with this strap over the years. I love the way it looks. I love the beautiful contrasting orange stitch, Knicks, Mets, Chicago Bears, depending on your preference. But the rigidity of this alligator leather means that it does have a substantial amount of virtual diameter or flare to it, because it does abut the lugs, come into contact, and it has a little bit of rigidity to it at the edge. It's effectively 60mm from the point where the strap really curves down to the opposing point on the opposite side. So this one does wear much larger than its nominal 42. The good news for 2014 was that the pin buckle, which allows for easy sizing and is far superior on a smaller wrist than the large single swing arm deployant, makes the hornback that much more agreeable from an ergonomic standpoint. So for 2014, the hornback with the pin buckle has gone from being something I couldn't wear on a 16 centimeter wrist to something I can now wear comfortably and securely. And let's face it, this strap just looks the business. If it were ever worth the effort to break in a strap to fit a smaller wrist, trust me, this one is it. And because of the strength of that hornback alligator leather, it's probably going to last you the better part of 10 years on the wrist. Now, the case itself hasn't changed much in profile. The biggest evolution case-wise has been the first ever edition of a display case back on a serial production 42mm Royal Oak Offshore. I believe the 2008 Yarno Truly limited edition was the first of the 42mm Royal Oak Offshores to feature a display case back, but it was an exceptionally rare piece in a sea of 42s that had nothing but a big piece of metal on the back. Now you get to admire the Audemars Piguet in-house automatic chronograph caliber. The biggest changes aesthetically take place on the dial, where we've effectively inverted the original 2008 Offshore Navy. Now that one featured a silver chapter ring tachometer, silver mega tapisserie dial base, and then dark hands, Arabic numerals, and subdials. This one turns us about so that it's now light on dark, and I actually find that the legibility is improved. First and foremost, I find it a little bit more upbeat thanks to the addition of the orange accents. They add a little bit of flair, a little bit of a sense of fun to a watch that might have just been a little bit too shall we say, big gray and underway. It felt every inch like a battleship before. Now it feels a little bit more like a luxury yacht, and I like that on a Swiss luxury watch. They are supposed to be fun. Now let's start up the chronograph. It's the same beloved 3126 3840 modular chronograph caliber that AP used on the previous 42mm offshore, but the legibility of that orange hand over the dark base is, in my opinion, functionally superior. Now, another important refinement is the change from nitrile shoulder to the crown and chronograph pusher covers to ceramic. So now black ceramic. They're both beautifully finished and far tougher than the originals in that they won't tarnish, they won't fade, they won't tear. They'll continue to look great and maintain their sharp definition lines, as well as their contrasting brushed and polished finishes for a long time to come. All of the classical elements of the Royal Oak and Offshore here, hand chamfered edges, beautiful contrasting, polished stainless steel bezel bolts countersunk into a gorgeous straight-grained bezel top. Likewise, the finish on the flanks and the hoods of the lugs contrasts nicely with all of the bevels. On the case back, you can see the 3126 modular chronograph caliber with a 50-hour power reserve, no fewer than 59 joules, 365 parts, a Gyromax-style free-sprung balance, and let's face it, with a dual-anchored balance bridge in tandem with that free-sprung balance, it's finally a sports watch caliber. Definitely tougher than the old JLC offshore calibers. This one just happens to be visible on the 42 for the first time. Now it's a bidirectional winder because AP wanted to set the Royal Oak apart, the Royal Oak and the Royal Oak Offshore, apart from oversized watches from Hublot and Panerai that were dependent on Valjoux 7750 base automatic movements. Those had a distinct unidirectional wobble when turning in the unloaded direction on the wrist. AP went with a bidirectional system to make it smoother and more refined. What they lost in efficiency, they made up by including ceramic rotor bearings, unlubricated. They're sealed for life, and they allow this rotor to operate over 1 million revolutions without any discernible wear at higher operational efficiency. And of course, the in-house movement finished to a standard unknown on the old JLC calibers and the original offshores. This watch is the total package, the latest look, the latest tech, and perhaps the most jovial countenance we've seen on an offshore Navy since the 2008 inception of the line. You can see the new Navy and take it home on our website, watchyouwant.com.